Hello, my name is Eugene Marais. I'm a researcher here at the Gobabeb Research and Training Institute in the Namib Desert in Namibia.
Hi, I'm Oliver Halsey. I'm a filmmaker and photographer with an interest and passion for the Namib Desert.
And we're here because we are looking for your support.
The Namib Desert is an area of significant scientific interest. Here in the central Namib, for more than 55 years, Gobabeb has been at the forefront of arid ecological research. Gobabeb is a scientific research station situated at the edge of the Namib Sand Sea, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Namib Desert is known as one of the oldest deserts in the world. The great age of the Namib does not, however, mean that it has remained unchanged, and its extreme aridity does not mean that it is without life. The desert here is extraordinarily biodiverse, somewhat surprising for an environment of such great aridity.
The organisms that originally inspired this project, however, are more unusual and rather unexpected desert-dwelling inhabitants. Snails. Inside this enclosure plot, close to Gobabeb, lies a concentration of empty shells from the terrestrial snail species Trigonophorus hortoni. This species spends the majority of its time deep under the sandy surface, only emerging after thick fog or heavy rainfall to feed on the sparse vegetation. What is unexpected is not that there are snail shells in the desert, but that this species was found in this part of the desert.
The species occur in the southern Namib, a winter rainfall region of the desert some 500 miles or 800 kilometers to the south of Gobabeb. The question is, therefore, if these shells are mute remains of an extinct population that disappeared with climate change, or if they still may occasionally emerge, but that nobody has ever seen them alive. Paleo-environmental studies in this part of the Namib suggest that the area has cycled through various climatic changes. There are areas containing evidence of paleo lakes, where fossilized freshwater reeds, stones shaped by water, mud with fossil animal tracks, and Stone Age tools all suggest briefly wetter periods in this part of the Namib. Towering accumulations of silt or mud from past flood levels of rivers flowing into the Namib are mute evidence that the hinterland and river catchment areas were once not as dry, receiving greater rainfall than they currently do and feeding frequent floods that raised the base level of rivers.
Many of these indications of wetter conditions in the Namib Desert are contemporaneous, showing brief interludes when conditions in the Namib was much wetter than today. These conditions occurred after the glacial maximum of the last ice age, when much of Europe and North America was covered by thick sheets of ice. These brief intervals occurred around about 15,000 and 6,000 years ago. Elsewhere in Namibia, noble gases trapped in a groundwater aquifer shows that Namibia is heated up by some 4.8 degrees Celsius since the last glacial maximum. It also indicates that precipitation in the interior of Namibia changed around about 7,000 years ago from the milder soaking winter rainfall type to the abrupt and violent tropical thunderstorms that much of Namibia experiences today. This layer of silt or mud represents an alternative course of the ephemeral Gobabeb River, which forms a barrier between the dunes of the central Namib to the south and the gravel plains to the north. It is about 10 meters higher than the current riverbed. Does this represent wetter conditions about 6,000 years ago, or is it much older?
This brings us to our proposed project. We are reaching out to anyone interested in this fascinating desert environment to help us date these Trigonophorus shells and layers of silt around Gobabeb.
If we reach our goal, we will date these shells and silt layers, of which the results will contribute to our overall understanding of climate change in the Namib, a controversial, much discussed, yet unresolved topic that may also explain the rich biodiversity of the Namib, as well as how resilient the desert may be to future climate change.